can make a ring with your fingers, and that's her C1, okay? So if she's restricted to the right, then in theory she's tilted rotated a little bit to the left. Okay, so her starting point is here, so then if you go 45 degrees, it stops early. Okay, and if you're slightly to the left, your left cervical rotation will be more than 45 degrees, if it's functioning properly. And MET is allowing the muscles to do the work for you. Okay, what we need to do is just find the right position. Okay, the position that I use most commonly for this is full flexion, but you can also use full extension. Okay, so slide up a little bit more towards me. Okay. So palpate the first spinous process down the posterior aspect of the cervical spine. I do that with my 2 fingers there. And you can get an idea if C2 is in good alignment or not. So I'm just taking my 2 fingers and running them up and down the lateral side of C2. And also see if there's any tenderness there. How's that feel in there?
Good.
Yeah.
A little tender on the right, but not bad.
Okay. And then pressure up between C2 and C1. That's where, between the SP of C2 and the occiput is where C1 is. Okay. We do a couple of quickie tests to make sure it's okay to do the MET. So we take our fingertips and push right up onto the interspace between C2 and occiput. Nice and solid, nothing's happening there, and you feel okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's good there. The second test I want you to do is the alar ligament stress test. It's the lateral one. It's called the lateral alar ligament stress test, where you come down and you're going to make a pincher grip, and then you slide down so that you lock onto C2. Okay, the first kind of big spinous process that you can grab, the lateral process you can grab onto is C2. Okay, take the occiput, just side bend it away, and pressure goes into your thumb, and we're not getting more than a few degrees of true side bending. There, it locks out there. So that means the ligament's in good shape. Okay, repeat on the other side. Slide off the mastoids, and then you'll be on C2. Easiest way to do it. Don't try and find the spinous process and come up to the sides. You'll kind of miss it. Easiest is to slide down off the mastoids, and you'll end up at C2. And lateral bending, nice and solid, right? Okay, so that's the easiest alar test to do. If it clunks, clunk like that, then it's unstable. Okay. Oh, and then the vertebral artery test, right? Slide over to the end of the table here. That's good. Drop the eyes open, drop back, and then rotate. And then up to 30 seconds. We won't wait that long, but how are you feeling?
Fine.
Good. There's no nystagmus. And then go the other direction. No nystagmus. Don't bother with the finger thing back and forth.
Repeat the alphabet backwards.
Sure, it's time for that, right? Spell your name sideways.
Yeah.
It's just a cool one when you were drunk.
I was gonna say,
You're like, pardon?
if you do it now, I.
I can do the other.
Exactly. Okay, so now we test the atlantoaxial joint, so full flexion. And we rotate to the end. That's it, it's about there. Yeah, it's definitely more to the left than to the right, but it's not a huge difference, right? And also just check with the feeling of the way the person feels about, do you feel it's restricted to the right?
Yeah, I did feel a little bit more restriction.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Ghosts, it's the... and so I always check, because you don't know if you're having an off day or whether you got the right, so I always just check in too to make sure we're on the same page, right? Okay, so then we go into full flexion. Actually, can you slide a little bit more towards me?
Nope, toward you.
Yeah, like that. Very perfect. And then we rotate. Now, if you can watch my hand, like I'm coming around and I'm taking C1 in my fingertips there, like this, back here. Okay. there's the mastoid, and it sits just below the mastoid like that. Not below, but just posterior to the mastoid. It's not down here, it's right up by the mastoid, that bump right there is C1. Okay, so I've got that between this finger and this finger, thumb. And I'm gonna use my chest, and then I rotate her to a point of restriction. Now, look towards these fingers and rotate to the left, just gentle, like that, for 5 seconds. And then relax. And then what I do is I turn the head, but I also turn the axis with my fingers. So it's both direct and indirect. And then we repeat. And then relax. So it's assisted by those fingers. Okay, and again. And then relax. And at some point, you're not going to get much more. I think we're close to the end there. After three sets is usually good. 3 to 5. We'll do one more for insurance. And then relax. That's the end. I'm not getting any more. Then slowly return back to neutral and drop back down again. And take a break. So the muscles are allowing it to turn, but we're also adding a little bit of a direct mobilization and indirect mobilization. So indirect through the head, indirect through the hand, and assisted by the muscles. And then what we do is we just recheck. Now I'm going to show you what not to do, okay? Yes, I got full flexion. And then
That feels better.
right to there. That looks pretty good to me. It might end up being a little less on this side if we've turned it. Right, if we had a 5-degree correction, then we got 5 more on this and 5 less on this. So what did you feel about that?
I felt good, like there's no restriction on the right.
Awesome. Okay, this is what I see, this is what not to do, and this is what I see all the time, okay? We start out pretty good.
Now you're jamming into your chest.
Yeah, and turn, so far so good. You gotta maintain that full flexion. We'll do the technique, go ahead and, okay? Okay, let go, okay, great.
Jumping out of flexion.
Brought her out of
Dropping out of flexion, all the time. You can't even let it go even a smidge. You might even more flexion, more flexion, more flexion. You gotta keep that tension on, or the rotation goes into the other joints, okay? The other thing I see is the same idea. Right, what did I just do there, right?
Side.
You just side bending, it's just, yeah, combined motion, no, it's not true, right? Yeah, it just looks good.
It's for me.
Wow, is that ever great?
Am I good?
Look how far your head
I've
goes.
seen these
Put that
trickeries
on
before.
YouTube.
I'll tell you more later.
I've seen those little